There's something I want to share with you today that might change how you think about this stage of life. We spend so much time measuring success by the wrong things: our accomplishments, our possessions, the size of our social circles, our bank accounts. But when you've lived long enough to see what truly matters, you realize that the real measure of a good life is something entirely different, something quieter, something deeper. What I'm talking about are the inner abilities that show you're not just getting older, you're getting wiser. These are the qualities that prove your spirit is still strong, your heart is still open, and your life still has purpose and beauty. Today, I want to talk about 5 powerful abilities that, if you still have them after 65, mean you're doing life exactly right. So get comfortable and let's explore these 5 abilities together. As we go through them, think about which ones you recognize in yourself, which ones you might have let slip away, and which ones you want to nurture. Because it's never too late to reclaim these abilities or develop them more fully. The first ability might surprise you. I'm talking about the power to adapt to life's changes without becoming bitter. Think about how much has changed in your life over the years. Maybe you've lost people you loved. Maybe your health isn't what it used to be. Maybe you've had to give up activities you enjoyed. Life after 65 brings changes, and how you respond determines whether you're truly thriving or just surviving. Let me tell you about Barbara. She's 73. 5 years ago, her husband of 50 years passed away suddenly. For months, she was devastated. Her whole life had been built around their partnership. She could have stayed in that grief, closed herself off from the world, and spent her remaining days angry at life. Instead, something remarkable happened. Barbara began to paint. She'd always loved art but never had time for it. Now she enrolled in a painting class at the senior center. She started painting at home, joined an art group, entered a community art show. Last year she sold 3 paintings, but the real victory wasn't the money, it was the light that came back into her eyes. Barbara adapted. She took the change life handed her and shaped something new and beautiful from it. That's what adaptability without bitterness looks like. It doesn't mean you don't grieve or pretend everything is fine. It means you acknowledge reality, feel your feelings, and then find a way forward that honors both your past and your present. You don't get stuck in what was, you ask yourself, given where I am right now, what's possible, how can I grow? Psychologists who study aging have found something fascinating. People who maintain this emotional flexibility actually live longer and maintain sharper cognitive function. It's as if adaptability is exercise for your soul, keeping your spirit flexible and strong. When life hands you something you didn't want or plan for, how do you respond? Do you resist and become resentful? Or do you take a breath, acknowledge the difficulty, and look for the path forward? If you can adapt without letting bitterness take root, you have one of the most valuable abilities a person can possess. The second ability is curiosity. You might think curiosity is something children have, not something that matters much in your 70s or 80s. But curiosity might be one of the most powerful tools you have for staying mentally sharp, emotionally engaged, and genuinely happy. Curiosity is that quiet fire inside you that wants to know more, understand more, experience more. It's what makes you ask questions instead of assuming you know all the answers. It's what makes you try something new even if you're not sure you'll be good at it. I knew a man named James. When I met him, he was 77 and had just bought his first computer. His grandchildren lived across the country and he wanted to video call with them. He was terrified of that computer at first, but instead of giving up, instead of saying he was too old to learn, he stayed curious. He asked questions, he made mistakes and tried again. He took a class at the library. Within 6 months, James wasn't just video calling his grandchildren. He was emailing friends, reading news from around the world, looking up answers to questions that occurred to him. The computer opened up a whole new world. But more than that, the process of learning something completely new gave him a sense of accomplishment and confidence that spilled over into other areas of his life. When you maintain your curiosity, you're exercising your brain in one of the most effective ways possible. You're creating new neural pathways, keeping your memory sharp, protecting yourself against cognitive decline. But beyond the brain benefits, curiosity keeps life interesting. It keeps you engaged as a participant rather than just an observer. Curiosity doesn't have to mean taking on huge new challenges. It can be as simple as wondering about something you see on your walk and looking it up when you get home. It can be asking your neighbor about their garden and really listening. It can be trying a new recipe or taking a different route to the store. It can be asking your grandchild to explain something from their world. When was the last time you learned something completely new? When was the last time you asked a genuine question because you really wanted to know the answer? If it's been a while, you can start right now. Pick something you've wondered about and go find out more. Let yourself be curious again. Now, before we continue, I want to ask you something. Are you finding this helpful? If you are, I'd love it if you'd leave a comment below. Tell me which of these abilities you recognize in yourself or which one you want to work on. And if you're enjoying this conversation, please subscribe to the channel. Your engagement really does make a difference. Alright, let's continue. The third ability is one that many people struggle with their entire lives, but those who master it find a kind of peace and freedom that's truly remarkable. I'm talking about the ability to forgive and let go. This means forgiving others for the hurts they've caused you, forgiving yourself for your mistakes, and letting go of the anger and resentment that can poison your remaining years. Forgiveness isn't about saying that what happened was okay. It's not about forgetting or pretending you weren't hurt. Forgiveness is about choosing your own peace over the need to hold onto pain. It's recognizing that carrying anger and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. It only hurts you. I once knew a woman named Alina who was 69 when she finally forgave her brother. They'd had a falling out decades earlier over their mother's estate. Alina felt he'd cheated her, and she held onto that anger for over 30 years. They didn't speak. That resentment colored everything in Alina's life. She thought about it constantly. It consumed her energy and peace. Then one day, Alina had a health scare. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to make her think about how she was spending her remaining years. She realized that her brother had been living rent-free in her head for 3 decades, and she was tired of it. She decided to forgive him, not for his sake but for her own. She wrote him a letter, not sending it, just writing out everything she felt and then symbolically letting it go. The change in Alina was visible. Her face softened, her shoulders relaxed. She slept better, she had more energy for things she actually enjoyed. She got her life back not by changing what had happened but by changing her relationship to it. When you hold onto anger and bitterness in these later years, you're allowing old wounds to steal time and energy from your present. You're giving power to people and events from your past to diminish your joy today. Forgiveness sets you free. It doesn't change the past, but it changes what the past does to you. And you need to forgive yourself too. We all have regrets. We all made mistakes, hurt people we loved, missed opportunities. You can spend your remaining years beating yourself up, or you can acknowledge them, learn from them, make amends where possible, and then forgive yourself and move on. Scientists have studied forgiveness and found it remarkable. People who practice forgiveness have lower blood pressure, less stress, better sleep, and stronger immune systems. Forgiveness is literally good for your health, but more than that, it's good for your soul. It opens up space in your heart for joy, for gratitude, for peace. Is there someone you need to forgive, either someone else or yourself? Is there an old hurt you're still carrying around? You don't have to do anything dramatic. Forgiveness can be an entirely internal process. You can simply decide today that you're going to start letting go. Say to yourself, I'm choosing peace, I'm choosing freedom. It might not happen all at once. Forgiveness is often a process. You might need to forgive the same person many times before it releases its grip. That's okay. Every time you choose forgiveness, you're taking a step toward freedom. The fourth ability is the capacity to find joy in ordinary days. This might sound simple, but it's actually profound. As we get older, if you've learned this lesson, happiness comes from something different. It comes from appreciating the simple, everyday moments that make up your actual life. The morning light on your kitchen table, the taste of your coffee, the warmth of the sun on your face, your grandchild's laugh on the phone, the birds at your feet. Let me tell you about Harold. Harold is 81, and every single morning, weather permitting, he spends an hour in his garden. He's not growing anything exotic or competing for prizes. He just tends to his tomatoes, his herbs, his flowers. He pulls a few weeds, waters where needed, checks on what's blooming. He talks to his plants. He watches the insects. When Harold talks about his garden, his whole face lights up. He'll tell you about the first tomato of the season like it's the most exciting news in the world. That hour in his garden is the foundation of Harold's happiness, not because anything dramatic happens, but because he's fully present to the simple goodness of it. This ability to find joy in ordinary moments is what psychologists call the gratitude shift. Instead of always looking ahead to some future happiness or looking back with nostalgia, you're fully present to what is, right now, and you're able to appreciate it. People who develop this ability stop comparing themselves to others. They stop measuring their worth by achievements. They start measuring life by how it feels, by moments of connection and peace and simple pleasure. They realize that a good life isn't necessarily a dramatic or impressive life. A good life is one where you notice and appreciate the goodness that's already present. Studies show that people who practice gratitude have lower stress levels, better sleep, stronger relationships, and greater life satisfaction. Gratitude actually changes your brain, making you more attuned to positive experiences. But beyond the science, gratitude just makes life sweeter. It makes you kinder, more patient, more content. This ability protects you from loneliness. When you can find joy in your own company, in the simple rhythms of your day, in the small beauties around you, you don't need constant stimulation or other people's approval to feel okay. Solitude becomes peaceful rather than lonely. What are the simple pleasures in your life? What small, ordinary moments bring you joy? Are you fully present to them, or do you rush through them without really noticing? Today, right now, what's one thing you can appreciate? Maybe it's that you're sitting comfortably, that you can hear these words, that you're breathing easily. Start noticing, start appreciating, start savoring the ordinary goodness of your life. This practice will transform how you experience your days. The fifth and final ability is perhaps the most powerful of all. It's the ability to love without condition. This means loving freely, openly, without holding back, without keeping score, without needing anything in return. It means loving people as they are, not as you wish they would be. It means offering kindness and compassion without judgment. This kind of love is different from romantic love, different from the passionate attachments of youth. This is a steadier, softer, but more powerful form of love. It's the love that comes from having lived long enough to understand that everyone is struggling with something, that everyone deserves compassion, that connection and caring are what give life meaning. Many people, as they age, start to close their hearts. They've been hurt, they've lost people, and they protect themselves by caring less, by keeping emotional distance. This is understandable, but it's also tragic. The ability to keep loving, to keep your heart open even after loss and disappointment, is one of the greatest achievements of a human life. Let me tell you about Ruth. Ruth is 82. Her husband died 12 years ago. Her best friend moved to another state. Ruth lives alone, and she could easily have closed herself off. Instead, Ruth volunteers at a local elementary school 3 mornings a week. She listens to children read, she helps in the art room, she knows the names of dozens of kids, asks about their lives, celebrates their small victories. Ruth also has a neighbor, a young single mother who struggles to make ends meet. Every Sunday, Ruth makes a little extra when she cooks and takes a plate of food over. She offers to watch the woman's children when she needs help. She's just there, a steady, loving presence, asking nothing in return. When I asked Ruth why she does all this, she said, "What else would I do? Love is what we're here for." Ruth has mastered this ability. She loves freely, and it fills her life with purpose and connection and joy. This kind of unconditional love requires that you see people with compassion, even when they're difficult or different. It means you look past the surface to see the struggling human underneath. It means you offer kindness even when it's not convenient, even when you won't get credit, even when the person might not appreciate it. Scientists have found that people who maintain close, caring relationships live longer, heal faster from illness, and experience less depression. Love is medicine for your body and soul. It calms your nervous system, boosts your immune function, gives your life meaning. When you love and feel loved, life is better in every way. The beautiful thing about this kind of love is that it doesn't depend on anyone else. You can choose to love freely regardless of how others respond. You can be kind, generous, and compassionate even if no one notices or thanks you. You can keep your heart open even in the face of loss. This is strength, not weakness. Is your heart open or closed? Are you loving the people in your life freely, or are you holding back, protecting yourself? Are you judging people harshly or offering them compassion? You get to choose. Every day, in every interaction, you choose whether to love or withhold love. Loving freely makes you vulnerable. You will experience loss and disappointment. But the alternative, closing your heart to protect yourself, means you miss out on the very thing that makes life worth living. The people who thrive in their later years, who have peace and joy and purpose, are almost always people who have kept their hearts open. So those are the 5 abilities: the power to adapt without bitterness, the gift of curiosity, the freedom of forgiveness, the wisdom to find joy in ordinary moments, and the courage to love without condition. If you have these abilities, if you're actively practicing them, you're doing life right. You're not just aging, you're growing. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And it's never too late to develop these abilities more fully. Even if you've been stuck in bitterness, you can choose forgiveness today. Even if you've closed your heart, you can begin to open it again. Even if you've stopped being curious, you can ask a new question right now. these abilities are always available to you. The world desperately needs people who have these abilities. We need your wisdom, your perspective, your capacity to love and forgive and find joy. You matter, your life matters, how you live these years matters enormously. Which of these 5 abilities do you recognize in yourself? Which one do you want to cultivate more intentionally? What's one step you can take today? Maybe you'll reach out to someone you need to forgive. Maybe you'll start a gratitude practice, writing down 3 things you appreciate each day. Maybe you'll learn something new, ask more questions, open your heart a little wider. Whatever you choose, know that you're not alone in this journey. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me which of these abilities resonates most with you, or share an example from your own life. When you share your story, you help others feel less alone and you inspire them to keep growing. If you found this conversation valuable, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who might benefit. Together, we can support each other in living these later years with wisdom, grace, purpose, and love. Thank you for spending this time with me today. You are valuable, you are loved, and you have so much to offer. Keep your heart open, keep growing, keep loving. That's what doing life right looks like.